Welcome back to Lotus on Track. We're at a very, very wet Castle Combe for the second race from the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy of the day. It's Rob Boston who leads from a slithering Tom Roche, and that bright orange blob you saw was Craig Devlin. Here's the fourth place car, it's Dave Carr. He's got Phil Stratton Lake up behind him, and these conditions are really as bad as we've seen at any point in this race, and it's getting to the stage where you wonder whether the clerk of the course may have to throw a red flag here, because standing water is beginning to form on the track. And where you've got the likes of Tom Roche just aquaplaning and sliding into corners, it's generally when you start to think maybe that enough is enough. But if you look over towards Bristol, there are some slightly brighter skies appearing, so maybe we'll just have to see this shower out as sliding the car again. Tom Roche at the S's, he's on the limit, and he really is finding there is not an awful lot of grip around this very tricky and very rapid Castle Combe circuit. It's often a favourite of the drivers because it is a quick circuit. It's one that offers a very different challenge to so many of the tracks in the UK. It's a little bit similar to Thruxton in that it's very true to its airport circuit past, and as a result you've got some mid-speed corners linked by some fast straights, and then the chicanes that got added about 10 years ago as we take a replay of going sideways. And that's Clive Wills. Does he keep it out of the barriers? He does, just. And that exactly illustrates my point, that you've got these puddles beginning to form and the drivers really having to feel their way lap on lap as the rain deluges down at Quarry Corner. Rob Boston, though, he's just sprinting the distance. Tom Roche maybe not enjoying the conditions quite as much. He's got Craig Denman, who is not quite conjoined to his tail, but he's very near. So there is the race leader, Rob Boston. We now wait, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, read the Sunday papers. Into the chicane comes the second place car of Tom Roche. He really isn't enjoying the S's at all. And then Craig Devlin in third, and then the battles begin to come together a little bit because Dave Carr and Martin Wills are not too far adrift of this scrap for second, and Tom Roche, he's got to be cautious, but he can't be too cautious here because he could find himself embroiled in a four-car tussle, and that will be very, very difficult for him to just maintain a level head, maintain his composure. But he breaks deep into Tower Corner. Craig Denman maybe on the brakes a little bit earlier, so he concedes a couple of car lengths in the braking zone for Tower. We have the very, very short sprint into Bobby's. Moving to the inside line there, Craig Denman, as much as anything else, just to get out of the spray, is kicking up through the puddles is Tom Roche. These conditions really as difficult as you can find for a driver, and now they're going to get even harder because the rain seems to have stopped as Mateusz Radstock has had a moment, but he finds first gear. He finds that the Elise has a surprising amount of traction on grass, and he rejoins the action in the 32 car. It's back underway. I was about to say the conditions are now getting doubly tricky for the drivers because it would appear as if the rain is starting to stop on some sections of the circuit, and as the sun appears and reflects off the water, that really does hamper the drive visibility even further. So Craig Denman pressurising all the while, though. Tom Roche in second, Rob Boston the race leader, completely in command of this race as he was the first race, but this time around very different conditions, and he's just able to find that grip and traction. Tom Roche, though, he has got pressure from Devon. Then we've had a moment somewhere for Dave Carr. He's gone missing, and it's now Phil Stratton Lake who comes through in fourth position. So I wonder whether Dave Carr was maybe just a victim of the conditions. So it's now Stratton Lake who takes his turn to attempt to challenge for these podium places as the head towards the latter stages of this race. And if Denman is going to make this move in third position, he's going to have to do it really in the next couple of laps because the clock ticks onwards. And also, as the track dries out, I just wonder whether Roche is going to drive through this period of tentativeness that he's had and feel a little bit more confident sliding the car as Will Price, but Price having an absolutely super performance here. So he is just ahead of Jake Hodson, who is next long in the 41 car. There's Dave Carr, he must have had a spin. He's back in his pack. So here's Will Price, who we talked about a couple of moments ago. And Price, he was a little bit further down the field in the dry weather early on, but in this wet weather he's really found the conditions to his liking, unlike Ken Savage, who has struggled to make progress up through the field following the reverse grid. So he's still running towards the second half of the top 10 at the moment. Maybe not quite as exuberant as we'd normally see him be. Somebody's had a bit of a trip across the grass. It's Jake Hodson in the 41 car. He's rejoined though, no harm done for him, as over and rise into Quarry Corner once more. The fight for second position is still in the hands of Tom Roche, and Roche, as I thought, has been able to pull out a car length or two over Craig Denman on that last lap as the track maybe just gets a little bit drier, relative terms anyway. Roche seems more confident. It's through the S's where he is at his most tentative, and that is where Craig Demon is able to close onto his tail, so he cleaves a car length out of Roche's advantage. It's not going to be enough to make a worthwhile challenge into Tower Corner, so they accelerate out of Old Paddock and accelerate along this back section of the circuit towards Tower. And is Demon going to be near enough? No, he's not. He's probably 2 or 3 car lengths too far back to really mount that viable challenge on Tom Roche. So Roche maintains second position for the time being, although Craig Denman is an ever-present shadow. We've seen already several drivers having grassy moments in this race. If Roche were to do that, then it would be a position lost for him, really, because Craig Denman would be through very, very rapidly. Will Price continues to slide his car in this entertaining battle for some of the other places in the top 10. Ken Savage struggling to make ground. He's up behind Jake Hodson though all the while. So Martin Wills, wonder if he's going to make his move as this race progresses. He's closing in onto the tail of Will Price. There is Savage behind Jake Hodson. He moves within almost touching distance of Hodson in the braking zone, the mid corner at Tower. Then he runs out a little bit wider, just slides the car, touching the white line. So again, no way through there. A straight line in the chicane is Martin Wills. He's going to have to rejudge his entry back on track perfectly to make sure he doesn't gain an advantage, but also from his point of view that he doesn't lose an advantage. And he has actually lost an advantage. He's lost a couple of places there to Hodson and Savage. So through Camp Corner we have Will Price. Then we've got Jake Hodson, who's next along with Ken Savage in hot pursuit. Then Martin Wills, having had that moment. So into Folly they come. In the dry weather, it's really a no-brainer, that left-hander. In the wet, obviously a totally different proposition. Mike Vase contemplating trying to make ground on Douglas Campbell. He couldn't quite do it, so Campbell in the bright orange 88 car maintains his place. As into Quarry Corner, Savage continuing to chase Jake Hodson. He's just unable to find a way through. And this is really one of the difficulties for the driver in the wet weather. They know where the grip is on the main racing line, but if they go offline to try and make a move, it is a little bit of a voyage into the unknown, and they can find themselves very rapidly running out of grip, which is the last thing you want to do in a hard braking zone. So they come out of the S's and accelerate on towards Tower Bend. Now we're going to see the challenge from Savage into Tower this time. Last lap, this is where he was really at his closest to Jake Hodson, and again he closes right up onto the tail of Hodson mid-corner. That's not really of any use to Savage. Instead he wants to be on his tail on the exit to maybe challenge into Bobby's. And Martin Wills also thinking about looking to the inside of Ken Savage. That though is not going to be successful. So those 3 cars continue to run line astern. The fight for second place, well, that gap hasn't gone out at all, has it, between Tom Roche and Craig Demon? They're still pretty much exactly where they were in terms of relative position to each other. Just about 3 or so car lengths between the pair of them, no more than that. As leading the way, Rob Boston, comfortably so, moving towards the latter stage of the race. And Boston has just been in imperious form ever since that electrifying start that got the race underway. He really has not been headed by anybody. Savage and Hodson into Folly once more. Oh, and going sideways and around is Jake Hodson. Into the grass he goes, and that is a quick place to lose it. He'll be relieved to have spun to the inside rather than the outside the circuit, and that promotes Ken Savage. It's another place gained for Ken, as he then runs a little bit wide through Quarry Corner. That could possibly give an opening to Martin Wills, as the pair of them also still chasing Will Price. And let's take another look at this moment for Jake Hodson, where his blood pressure will probably have attained all-time high. Through he goes, just touches some standing water at the rear of the car, snaps around and pitches him into a lurid spin across the grass. Well, that is no concern to Rob Boston, who is just a couple of corners away from doing the double here at Castle Combe. He slides the car through Tower Corner, and again on the exit he's almost showboating for the crowds at the moment. He then will work through Bobby Chicane for the final time, and he's just got the sprint along towards Camp Corner, successfully negotiating Camp Corner. Then the checkered flag ready and waiting. The marshals are there on the starting gantry. The checkered flag goes out, and it is the win for Rob Boston in emphatic fashion here at Castle Combe. But what about the battle for second position, because that has been going all the way through the race. And here they are, and Craig Demon may have saved the best to last here. He's a couple of corners from home, but he is as near to Tom Roche as he has been at really any stage of the race thus far. He just slithers the car as he gets the power down over the surface water out of Tower Through bobbies they come, single file, so it's going to be all or nothing through Camp Corner, and certainly Craig Devon is setting up for the move here into Camp. They exit the final turn though, and Tom Roche has just done enough, and he will claim second position with Craig Devon completing the podium. And that was an excellent drive from Devon and Roche to battle like that in these conditions. So the final results: the win for Rob Boston, second place Tom Roche, third was Craig Devon, fourth Martin Wills, fifth place Phil Stratton-Lake. Will Price completes the top 6, and Dave Carr rounds out the top 10.
Hi Rob, congratulations, 2 wins for you today. I've got your trophies there for you.
Thank you. Cheers, thank you.
How did you find that second race with this lovely weather?
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? I seem to remember this morning saying that it'd be nice if it didn't rain, but yeah, we had a nice dry first race, and second race absolutely tipped it down. But yeah, it was very fun. These cars are excellent to drive, wet or dry. Yeah, so it was a really good race for me.
Hi Tom, congratulations. So second place in both races. How did you find the second race?
Scary. It was really good fun, but like going down the straight, it felt like you were going to crash, and it was just be as smooth as you could and try not make any mistakes. Nowhere near as quick as Rob. Rob just disappeared in the distance, and I think Craig was a bit faster than me behind, so I just had to try and stay on the right line the whole time and hope that he couldn't pass me offline. But no, it was really good fun.
Hi Craig, congratulations. So third place in both races today. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. I would like to have been closer to the 2X MX5 boys, but wasn't going to happen today. They're just in a different league. But did my best, and hopefully I did my best for the old guard. But good fun, yeah, especially the second race, really good fun.
That's all we've got time for today. Join us next time here at Alton Park for more Lotus racing action.